Still can't identify the difference between an inciting incident and a call to adventure. My name is Gina. I'm an author, editor, publishing professional. I help you make your writing better. There's a very good chance that if you cannot identify it in your own writing, that you are writing in a quieter genre. These like inciting incident and call to adventure are usually pretty easy to identify in like big, epic, fantastical stories because they are a little bit farther apart on the page because the books are longer. And then also because they are big, large deviations from normal. These are big events because it's a big story. It's an epic story. If you are writing something that feels a little bit more quiet, a little bit more intimate, these inciting incidents and calls to adventure, it might not be an adventure. That's just like an alternate name for that first pinch point. So there might not be an adventure. There might not be a call. There might not be a huge incident. I have plotted out episodes of TV shows in which the inciting incident is Ted Mosby learns that Robin is dating another man. That's not a huge incident. That's not a big deal. That's not earth-shattering news, but it's problematic for this character. He dislikes that information, and so it makes him act differently than he was going to at the beginning of that episode. Another term for that call to adventure is sometimes a crossing of a threshold, and there are going to be people who are very, very strong Campbellian hero fans that are going to be like, those are actually two different things. And when we are talking about like a strict Campbellian structure, you're right. Those do get called to, those are two different points within the story, but in other structures, they sometimes can mush together and they can feel like kind of the same thing. So you might not have a call to adventure. You might have a crossing of a threshold. In the pilot episode of the Gilmore Girls, this is a literal crossing of a threshold in which Lorelai steps into her parents' house in order to ask them for money. The inciting incident was Rory getting accepted into Chilton, and Lorelai doesn't have the money for that. That's the thing that happened that puts her on a different path. Lorelai crosses a threshold and asks her parents for money, which is going to change the overall story. You could, from a certain perspective, be like, well, both of those things are changing Lorelai's trajectory, but because of the order that they happen in, they serve two different functions within the story. Lorelai crosses that threshold very reluctantly and is dragged into those Friday night dinners, kicking and screaming. Lorelai does not see Chilton and eventually Harvard as something that she has to fight against. She is very happy to be participating in that piece of the story, and so that feels much more like an inciting incident, where the other is the one that feels like she is being reactive. She is being forced to behave this way. She doesn't want to be doing this, but she will do it for the ultimate goal of the story.